Hey, Derby fans! Who's ready for a mashup bout, yeah? Hey, welcome back to it. I'm still Clofton P. Grudge. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your opinion of me. This is Asuke Talking Smack House. Asuke, I'm Bill Compton. Asuke.
Hello,
Anyways,
everyone.
We are back for the mashup bout. It is my pleasure to first announce to you for this mashup bout, it is an entirely different squad of regulators. It's the spooky regulators who have already done the music in a minor key. Anyway, meanwhile, taking over as regulators for this second bout this evening, we'll start with your head referee.
Head referee is Beetle Cop.
Your game executioner is Ghost Hugs.
The front pack ref is Father Rodriguez.
And the backpack ref is Ref Beetle D.
We've got the jam referee, Love Spell.
Your eye in the sky, Monday Night Football Dreams.
Jam referee is Derby Spice.
Your eye in the sky is, quote, Yazzle Dazzle, close quote.
The penalty tracker is Nightmare Bear.
The penalty tracker assistant is, quote, Baby Bat, close. No, that's good for Halloween, Baby Bat.
Penalty box, Sister Psycho.
On penalty box is Moth Mama.
Scoreboard is Sub-Zero.
And the runner is Monster Squad. Give some love to your spooky regulators, because the treatment they get from the teams could very well be ghastly. Meanwhile, now that that is all set and done, you can see our two team captains out there speaking at the front of the track. And looks like we are about ready, so I think I'll start things off, yeah? All right, Derby fans, for our mashup bout this evening, it is my pleasure to welcome to the track, wearing red, orange, etc., the Killer Clowns. I love when it says copyright instead of captain. All right, for the Killer Clowns, this is it. Number 3, Enema Burns. Number 12, Maximum Overdrive. Number D20, D&D's Nuts. Number 52, Gnarly Quinn. Number 71, Mad as Sin. Number 96, All of You Die. Number 420, Astro Thought. Number 835, Scarin' Jaeger. Number 925, Evil Twin. Number 011, Skeletori. Co-captain of the Killer Clowns, number 1999, Show Enough. Your captain of the Clowns, number 808, that's Crash. Oh, you don't want that. I just tried to hand my microphone. Yeah, we're a loose crowd during mashups, my goodness. Take it away, Sookie.
All right, and going up against the Killer Clown is the Witches. And they're especially wicked. All right, for the Witches, we've got number 17, Bitch Please. 25, Night Mary. Number 101, Hurricane May. 182, Hannibal Lecture. 333, Bed Bugs Bunny. 666, Strange. 710, Mofasa. 1897, Impaler Swift. 1986, Columbiach. 2187, Princess Leia. And your co-captain is number 300, Dolly Spartan. And your captain is 070, Invader Slim.
There we are. We are set to go in this mashup bout. 12-minute quarters, so 48 minutes of Derby regulation time action coming your way. Ready to go. You can see the red team down there. Several of those skaters decked out in the Clown Town jerseys. You may remember those from Roller Rage, other tournaments, etc. Rosie the Ripper is decked out in a full Union Jack. Look at that. Oh, Derby Spice. Okay. See, I had to look at the names I didn't read. So, yeah, Derby Spice. That makes total sense. Sorry, Derby Spice is, yeah, there you go. Wonderful.
I'm coming to get that home enjoy.
Hey, Derby fans here in the arena, don't forget, we have trick-or-treat candy up here. So if you come up here and then open your mouth like Moo Ding, we'll throw some candy in it.
But you have to say the magic words, trick or treat.
Right. Or do like Moo Ding does and bite my leg. Here we go. Do not often get to see teams wearing purple out there, but hey, get that purple wristband a trotting out of for the eyes in the sky. Your first jammer for the Witches is Hurricane May.
And for the Clowns, we got 835, Scaren Yeager.
I like how Suki glanced over at me like she needed permission to call out Yeager as the jammer. Meanwhile, Yeager is your lead jammer.
But Hurricane May is out and coming around for the Witches.
Big collision there back in the pack. Yeager is gonna get out in front and calling it. Calls it off. I saw May get through as well, so some points for both sides, it would appear. All right, so your first points on the board. 4 points for the Killer Clowns, 3 points for the Witches. And there you go. That's another one of those unusual things you don't usually see in bank track, which is points for both sides in the first jam.
Right, yes.
So, without even a lead
So we might
either.
have another evenly matched bout.
Oh, wait, that's me.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, see, I can never remember to do that because I start announcing. Yeah, my apologies, everybody. There we go. That's Bedbugs Bunny for the
As our
Witches, number 333.
lead jammer. Who's our
Lead
jammer for the Clowns? Who do we got there?
Yep. So, lead jam for both sides to start things off here in the mashup bout. And Bugs is going to get right through the pack there. Excellent blocking by the Witches. Now there's
That's
Tori.
Skeletori.
Yeah, Tori is taking off for the Killer Clowns. A big block. All of you die getting all the way down on the infield there. That wasn't Olive. I'm sorry, that was Gnarly Quinn. It's Olive's sister. Bugs finishing off the scoring pass and calls it off. So waiting for the score. It is a 9-point jam for the Witches to jump in front, 12-4. Hurricane May is jamming for the Witches.
And we've got Evil Twin making her second appearance this evening as jammer for the Clowns.
Yeah, you'll see some of these skaters definitely skated earlier this evening, so out there doing the full 4 hours. Evil Twin is your lead jammer for the Clowns.
Let's see, it looks like Hurricane May's towards the back of the pack, looking to make a move here. Coming out.
So May
While
out.
Evil Twin's looking to score some points.
Twin quickly around the outside. And Twin calls it off after getting quickly around the outside. So 4 points for the Killer Clowns. Fairly standard Derby-like score of 12-8 here in the early going. Setting up on the jammer line for the Killer Clowns is your captain. That's Crash.
And for the Wicked Witches, I can't...
That's Strange.
Is that Strange?
Yeah.
Strange also making a
That is
second
Strange.
appearance tonight.
The announcer insider tip, the only reason I know this is because they're wearing the same shorts and leggings they were in the first
the
bout.
purple.
Right.
Yes.
Ah.
Good
There
call.
you go. Right. Anything. When you can't see anybody's names or numbers, it's anything you can do.
I couldn't see past Crash's tutu.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, fighting around to go around the outside, there goes Strange, knocking down All of You Die. Collisions there in the back straightaway, crash down. So
Strange working their way through the pack.
Strange colliding right into the back of, who in the world was that? They just plowed through. Somebody took one heck of a hit down there. That was Tori, I believe, yeah. So yeah, interesting stat, by the way. And we really didn't get a chance to talk about the minor assaults program earlier in the earlier bout, but I was going to say, interesting stat is that Crash, number 808, is captaining the Killer Clowns and is the only junior skater out there right now.
Oh, okay.
Crash is 16 years old.
Oh,
so
amazing.
I have active skater in our junior league. Also, I love touting Crash. Active skater in our junior league, skating ref in the adult league when they're not skating, and then also out here captaining a jam team full of adults.
So living that derby life.
Yeah, right? Aim big, kids. Aim big, dream high. Something like that. Aim big, dream high, and dreams should be followed. There goes Hurricane May for the Witches.
I think that's Madison.
It is Madison.
For the Clowns.
Yeah.
Coming up behind. We got a little bit of a jammer race here. May coming through to try to score, but it's calling it off.
So, good pursuit by Madison. What brought it to mind was, oh, Madison, dramatic. Oh, look at that. The dismount. Give Mads an Oscar. I was going to mention, though, because obviously there's a lot of former minor assaults out there, too, and current minor assaults, but Hurricane May, All of You Die, Madison, a lot of them, Mary, again, Night Mary. So just good to see. It's fun to see you skaters that have come up through the program.
It's good to see the progression.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to it we go. That is going to be All of You Die for the Killer Clowns.
And who do we have for the Witches here? That green makeup is throwing me off.
That is going to be your team captain,
yes.
Invader Slim.
Invader Slim.
That's right, yeah, the green makeup.
Excellent look.
Right. I'm going to have to find, are we going Elphaba or are we going Hulk? I cannot decide. Meanwhile.
Maybe a little of both.
Right, exactly. So Invader Slim does get out, and now Olive is out as well, so Slim's going to try to put some points on the board here again for the Witches. Big
Slim
collision
getting a little
there.
bit of clown
And
obstacle there.
Slim calls it off. So the Witches had already jumped in front a little bit there with 5 points in that previous jam. And we will see what they put on the board here. No points for the Clowns. 7 more for the Witches here in the early going. So 24-8.
Oh, it's still early on. It's early.
We have number 835, Skirin Yeager at the jammer line.
And we've got 17, bitch please, for the Witches. Both trying to make their way through the pack.
And Yeager is able to outrun those blockers to the end of the pack. Got by that last Witches blocker so fast, just kind of knocked her over with her wake.
Bitch
So
please
now
got caught up on the infield and is now trying to get past some clown blockers here. Hannibal Lecter trying to help them along.
And Yeager fighting through the pack to get around again, try to get some more points on the board. Meanwhile, checking on the provenance of the blocker for the, and there is Bitch Please, Witch Please, as I said earlier, fighting through the pack. It's hard to see that purple cover with a black star on it. Meanwhile, down to the inside and the clock expires. I like the pivot stripe for the Clowns that has the hot dog, and then it's also on sideways.
Yes.
So it looks right now like Show Nuff is wearing a headband that's a hot dog. And that's wonderful and adorable. And I hope that gets turned that way every time tonight. That's the best pivot stripe
It works.
wearing.
It works
Not
for
just
this
the fact
bout.
that it's being worn exactly like it's a headband. It looks like a helmet strap, but that it's a hot dog. You know what? Mashup bouts sure are a lot of fun. That was a 7-point jam for the Clowns. It's 24-15.
And it looks like we've got Sleia.
That's Princess Sleia for the Witches. Your jammer for the Clowns is fighting to get through and is out. And that is Skeletori for the Skeletori for the Clowns.
Sleia's right behind, so.
That's right. And now you have the Brutal Beauties, I believe, captain and co-captain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and the two of them skating along, and you saw the
Or,
hands on hips.
As we affectionally call them, the Broodies.
The Broodies,
The
right?
Broodies.
Exactly. As all announcers are required to say at least once per bout.
Absolutely.
You know the old, you know how it goes. If I can make it to the second half without saying Broodies, then I get my admission back.
I love Broodies.
That's
I don't
right.
know if the Brutal Beauties like it, but I love it.
But yeah, you saw there Princess Leia, of course, the captain of our beauties, and Skeletori, it's very much fun to see them skating together going through the corner like that. So, 28-15, 4 points for the Witches. And that for the Clowns.
And see, I think that's
Ricocheting
Hannibal
around, that's-
Lecter out there for the Wicked Witches.
Yeah.
Doing jammer duty.
Yes, Hanny for the Wicked Witches, and that's D&D's Nuts. That's number D20, D&D's Nuts for the Clowns. Did
Both
not
are-
jam for the Brides during the Brides game, jamming now.
Both are trying to fight through, getting some opposition, but it looks like Hannibal Lecter might make it out. There we go.
Yep, last blocker out of pace, so Hanny gets waved on around. Big fall hard onto the edge of the track, but D&D is right back up onto it. And
Lecter calls it off.
All right, 2 points for the Witches. Witches have them doubled up the moment, 30-15. That's going to be Strange and Crash. Two nice, short, brief little names, Strange and Crash on the jammer line.
And they're off. Strange making their way to the front of the pack and makes it out first, making them the lead jammer. Crash struggling a little bit there towards the back, but still pushing through as Strange is coming through to collect some points.
So Strange up, started toward the high side, then ducked down back to the inside. Now gets blocked off. Their excellent block, I believe that was Olive, and calls it off. So good block there by Olive to close the door and kind of sap the momentum for Strange.
And on the jammer line, we've got Mad as Sin for the
And
Clowns and Hurricane May for the Wicked Witches. I'll get you, my pretty.
All right. Discussion from, there we go, 5 points on the board for the Witches in that last jam. So 35-15. Both jammers in a fairly tightly bunched pack right now. Mad's off to the inside and May off to the inside. So both are reestablishing at the back and trying to get through. And now Mad's to the outside, and there goes Madison.
Looks like May's still mid-pack there, trying to get their way through, maybe towards the back there, trying to get through a little bit of clown opposition. Oh, gets knocked off onto the infield.
Trying to get through now. May is back up at the back of the pack and is holding that star down. And Mads is going to get through. There's 6 seconds left on the jam clock. Checking that out and watching that expire, and May is going to head for the bench. Yes, indeed. May took a very hard fall down in the infield, so was basically just trying to get up and stay in play, and Nacho coming directly over to check. Once again, our medics, that's going to be Nacho and Jace, already on their way over when they saw May come off the track. Play did not stop since May was not in the way and did not need assistance, so they'll check out May, and we'll get back to you on that. Meanwhile, at the jammer line for the Witches is going to be Bedbugs Bunny, number 333. And that is Astrothought for the Killer Clowns. I think that's Astrothought without a number on.
Astro?
I'm not sure.
Is that
Bedbugs Bunny for the Witches, which is the jammer that we're definitely sure about. And now a collision there at the front of the pack, and Bugs is just going to plow right through and get through the pack. Now clearing the way, absolutely. And one more time, I do believe that's Astro Thought. We'll see, though, coming up. On their arms. Yes. No.
No. Maximum overdrive?
Maximum overdrive.
There we go.
No number on the back of the jersey. I couldn't see the braids going down the front. I thought it was Astro's short hair. My mistake. Max is going to get out of the pack for the Clowns. Meanwhile, Bugs finishing off a scoring pass. Yep, that's Mashup Derby.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway, now we know that's Max with no number on. I thought that Astro may even be on the witches. That was my first thought, because with the braids in front, I thought that was Astro's hair.
Yeah.
And same size and kind
yes,
of body
absolutely.
shape. All right, that does take us up to the quarter break. That wound up being a 14-point jam for the witches to close out the first quarter. So your score right now: Witches 49, Killer Clowns 25.
And be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames merch booth to get your favorite league and team merchandise, as well as a cold beverage or snack. We have brand new t-shirt designs from your favorite teams, and check out our discounted merch. This is also where you can get your souvenir cups for the night. Come grab some keychains, tote bags, patches, and more. And watch for our new merch cart, where our goods are going to come to you. And let's go ahead and talk about some of our sponsors. We've got Lost Dutchman Tattoo, which specializes in various styles from realism to traditional. You can also customize your own tattoo, and walk-ins are accepted. The shop is located at take your photo and check out some of the very cool vendors that we have there. One of which is, we've got a couple of them. Mother Trucka, an artist using reclaimed wood. There's signs and art on wood with pastels, pencils, and acrylic paints. There's also wood burning, and they have many pieces of horror genre, including Beetlejuice, Elvira, Jason, and Pennywise.
Hey, we are back to it. And there's been a challenge. See, that's what I mean. See, what is this nonsense of just handing your challenge flag to the officials? When you can't be, you have to be demonstrative.
Is that a rubber chicken?
That is indeed.
Beetle Cop is holding a rubber chicken. Is that the flag for this bout? I think so.
All right. So, by the way, the coach of the Killer Clowns is Infidel Castro, and I believe that's Laura Stabs down there as well. So Castro getting to live it up, and I'm sure giving I'm sure giving Beetle Cop no grief whatsoever. None.
No, never.
No,
never.
None.
Nothing but the
also
utmost
wanted
respect.
to mention Freya Hugs popped up here during quarter break, and I was tasked with coming up with a good name for Freya. I thought Ghost Hugs was pretty good, but Freya just came up and said, definitely missed a chance to say that Freya tonight is dressed as Jack Hart, who is with the agency with Tilted Thunder. So that is Freya's costume. Freya is dressed as Jack Hart, referee with the agency for Tilted Thunder. And that's a very inside niche joke, and I really hope Jack Hart.
I'm not
is
even going to
watching.
pretend to know. Just
There-
not.
So the challenge is continuing, and we're definitely going to take that opportunity to read a couple more of our vendors out too. And if the vendors are still here, definitely get over and check them out during halftime. And if not, look them up online. We had 5 fantastic vendors here this evening.
Absolutely. We've got Green Irish Moon, handcrafted leather roller skate and shoelace accessories offering custom paint and artwork toe guards for your derby alter ego. We've got Uniquely Crafted by Tracy. Check out a variety of handcrafted items like crochet book covers and bags, glittered out ashtray sets, earrings, bracelets, keychains, and more.
Ref Beetle D has, oh, 1 second. I am not left-handed. I'm not a southpaw. That was great. I tried to throw it at Derby Spice down there, and it landed by the, wow. Man, yeah, no, I am not. All right, we are throwing some candy down to the referees, the regulators. Now we're going to get all the candy off the track. My goodness. Halloween time around the Derby place, right? I love how well everything's decorated, too. Although I had to come up here. For some reason, my ghost lights on my mic, I don't know if you can see, but Suki has ghost lights. My ghost lights didn't have batteries. And since I didn't have any AAA batteries laying around, so I didn't get ghost lights, and they also tied my microphone to the stand with the lights. I was like, oh, all right, folks.
They just wanted to mess with you.
I love everything being all dressed up like this. The Halloween bout's always a lot of fun.
It's amazing. And back to the action. Looks like we got Dolly Spartan for the Wicked Witches pushing their way through some clowns.
And Bedbugs Bunny is back there for the witches and just kind of went right through one of the blockers back there for the clowns. Catching who the heck that was. Meanwhile, out the front of the pack goes Dolly Spartan for the witches. So Dolly's out and clear. Enema Burns is screaming, coming through the pack, using that as an interesting way to clear some blockers is by
wearing
just
the hot dog
screaming
cover.
at them. Yes, right. I've heard of some ways to block, but using your voice. Meanwhile, those two blockers still in the front of the pack, Enema Burns and All of You Die. Pack is just kind of doing the merry-go-round thing now. Making their way
Dolly
yep.
make much of a move there.
There we go. Full 60 seconds to start off the second quarter. Stepping up to the jammer line, we'll check on the score in a second, but I just wanted to get a chance to say this. Stepping up to the jammer line, number 710, Mo Fasta. There we go. We still got the Mo Fasta cheering section here tonight. That's Mo. And jamming for the clowns is number 011. That's Skeletori. She usually has the bow in her hair.
She usually has the bow in her hair, so that's just completely throwing me off.
There's the announcers up here talking shop. Exactly. That's the Meanwhile, fighting out the front, there goes Mo.
And here
Mo
comes Skeletori.
And Mo looks behind and sees, here comes Tori. So Mo is we got ourselves a jammer race here in this mashup bout. Mo is getting back to the pack, collides with one of her own blockers, tumbles, calls it off, just gets the signal in with Tori blasting through the pack, and Mo calls it from her back. So we'll check on the score there. That is calling it off from a dangerous place while you're trying to tap your own hips while laying on the ground while people with roller skates are going by.
Absolutely.
So watch your fingers.
Yes. And other body parts. And it looks like we've got All of You Die on the line for the Killer Clowns and Hannibal Lecture for the Wicked Witches. But there's some talking. Talking.
All right, there it is. So points for both sides. Actually, Mo called it off, but the call-off was not quite in time to keep Skeletori from still being an active scorer, albeit not to change lead. So, ended up being 2 for the Witches and 3 for the Killer Clowns, and now we're back to caught up.
Looks like Hannibal Lecture trying to get through a few clowns up there.
And now to the outside, there she goes. There goes Hannibal Lecture. Up at the back of the pack is going to be a blocker, and they're popping up as your jammer for the Clowns.
All of You Die making a move there, getting out of the pack, while Lecture's coming around for some points. But there's a little bit of a clown wall going on there, so let's see what Lecture can do against that. as
Yeah.
All of You Die comes up from behind.
So 2 more points for the, for the witches there. Just under 9 minutes to go until halftime, and we've got Evil Twin out there for the clowns.
And Dolly Spartan for the Wicked Witches.
I was going to say, I
but-
heard somebody saying down a jammer. So we got our first power jam of the mashup bout. It's the Witches. It's that team in purple at the jammer line. That's going to be Dolly Spartan.
Can you do a good cackle?
What's that?
Can you do a good cackle for the witches?
You do it.
I can't do a cackle.
Yeah.
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally, okay. So there goes Dolly fighting around the outside. And Dolly is out and clear.
Looks
And
like
now
we've
an
got
active
a real
score.
sporadic looking pack there.
Yeah.
Split up.
Split up. Those witches blockers in the front are kind of just sitting and waiting. Now here comes a clown's blocker to get them in play, and Dolly fights around. Dolly fights through. 30 seconds left in the power jam.
The pack's kind of closing in a little bit. Looks like there's some strategy maybe happening. A little bit of a tumble there. Dolly's moving her way through and gets out pretty easily.
So still 12 seconds left in the power jam. 7 seconds. Here comes Dolly once again. This is one of those power jams we talked about in the earlier bout, which is one of those where a team that gets that offensive firepower going can put lots of points on the board. So let's check on the score from the infield. It is a 14-point power jam for the Witches. Your score right now, Witches 69, Clowns 28.
And we got Mad as Sin for the clowns, and it looks like Witch Please for the witches.
Number 71 versus number 17, which there's a whole story behind that, so that's very funny. So Madison used to wear number 17, but when Mad came back to the league, Bitch Please was wearing 17, so Mad's flipped it around and now wears 71.
Oh, didn't
Bingo,
know
bango.
that.
Yeah,
Makes
right?
sense.
So we have a couple of 17s
That's
out
an
there.
easy fix.
There you go. Me and numbers. What can I say? Meanwhile, Mads fights through along the inside and is going to get out. So now we're just looking over here at Bitch Please, getting blocked off to the infield by Enema Burns.
Fighting past All of You Die there to get out of the pack as Mad as Sin comes around for some points and calls it off. Let's check in with the crowd. Who's here for the Killer Clowns? Who's here for the Wicked Witches?
Who cheered for both teams because you're just happy to be here? Yeah, see, there you go. I thought so. I was good. Yeah, but I feel like I heard a lot of the same people cheer. I'd ask who's not having a good time, but I'm not a glutton for punishment. Meanwhile, that is fighting to the front of the pack, racing to get there, well, trying to get there, and we got a jammer race. I was going to say, it's Strange and Evil Twin
Did you
having
see
some
what
fun
Twin
with it.
did there?
Yes.
Fluttered their fingers against their back.
Very good.
Like, ooh, remember, I'm behind you.
All right, so let's check on the score from the infield. We got 5 minutes to go until halftime.
And
All
it looks
right.
like we've got 198 Columbia on the line for the Wicked Witches.
And that's going to be Scary Yeager for the Killer Clowns. So Yeager bouncing to the outside and fighting past that last blocker, able to get by Hurricane May on the front end of the pack.
Columbia fighting their way through the pack, trying to get up there to the front, getting some clown opposition.
So now Yeager looking for an opening and trying to fight by a couple of blockers. Doing battle down there along the inside of the track, in particular with Hurricane May once again.
Columbia
Yeager-
still trying to get against the clowns there. Didn't quite get through.
Yeager rolls into the pack and calls it off. But Yeager got all 4 of those points, as good jammers tend to know they did. So 72-41 with 4 minutes to go until halftime.
We've got Crash for the Clowns.
And that's Princess Leia for the Witches. And Crash just waiting for an opening and basically just sat still for a second and took off. What a burst of speed out of Crash. So Crash, your lead jammer for the Clowns.
Yeah, Sleigh's still stuck behind some clowns back there. Although they're out now.
There you go.
Split second, that changes.
And Crash able to negotiate with Invader Slim at the front of the pack and calls it off. So we are so 2 points for the Clowns there, 72-43.
It looks like
we have,
May is going to ride piggyback on All of You Die here, so let's see how that works.
These skaters have taken mashup Bout to ridiculous lengths. You're not allowed to jam as one unified one unified body. What is this, The Thing? Knock it off. There goes All of You Die quickly to the front of the pack for the Clowns. Olive and Hurricane May, of course, skated together in the minors. They go way, way back, so for anybody that doesn't know. So meanwhile, there's Olive up into the rail. Still trying to get through, and there goes Olive, turning her way through. Now we've had a star pass. That's Bugs is going to take over as jammer for the Witches. And gets a block from the former jammer and a high five to Hurricane May on the way by.
Here comes Olive.
And Yeager with a good block to clear Bia out of the way. And Olive gets the hips in front of the last blocker and calls it off. Under 2 minutes to go till halftime. Check on the score there for the Clowns. Clowns have put some offense on the board here as we get ready to head into the halftime break. That's 9 for the Clowns, so the lead is 20 for the Witches.
And we've got Evil Twin on the line for the Clowns. Might be a switch here for the Witches. Switchy Witches. But no,
Evil Twin, number 925, and 925, and then Mary, number 25, is who we got up there right now. And Mary to the front of the pack. I heard a big tumble. That was Mary going down. And Evil Twin's going to weave through the pack, spin to win. Gets out the front of the pack.
Mary does find an opening there, though, but is struggling at the top of the pack there to get through.
Trying to get
Still
by
pushing.
Yeager, yeah. And now here comes Mary. He's going to try to get past that front wall of Clowns defenders. Has a blocker in there trying to spring her loose, still trying to fight through. There's 26 seconds left on the jam clock, so lots of time yet.
Twin gets a little bit of help from their teammates to try and get through, but is stuck there at the back.
So Mary gets out. Show Enough is marooned way far outside the pack. Oh, see, now that wasn't Show Enough. Actually, that time it was Astrothought. From a distance, as I was going to say, Show is, see, there's Show. There you go.
Show is sparkly tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like, Show hands off the star because it's going to be a power jam for the Clowns. The Clowns
like
put
All of
3
You
points
Die
on
is
the
gonna
board.
take
The Clowns are within 17 points, and now the Clowns have a power jam in what's going to be our last jam before the half.
Let's hear it, Clowns fans.
That's right,
Power
Clowns
jam.
fans, let's hear it from you. Get silly. Here we are getting ready for, it is now definitely the last jam of the first half. So Olive trying to get out, which is defense, which is mostly spells and a couple of herbal remedies, is playing well so far. So now Olive to the front of the pack, tries to blast past May, and May is up to the challenge so far. The two of them were just like, playing around, hugging each other, but the love is gone. Meanwhile, Olive gets out halfway through the power jam, though, so the Witches' defense does its job. So now, here comes Olive. Manages to cling to the coping and not come off the track, but that did eat some time off the clock, and we're looking at 8 seconds to go in the power jam and the half. Olive just at this point trying to make sure she gets all 5 of the points on this scoring pass. Bump to the infield, And the clock expires. So that'll take us up to the end of the first half. We'll check on the score from the infield and find out exactly.
JJ, point.
We are back to it. It is 72-60. The Killer Clowns have pulled this thing pretty close and are within 12 as we get back to the game action. All right, so we are going to start things off with, unfortunately for the Killer Clowns, their jammer appears to have picked up a penalty. So we are looking at Hannibal Lecture with a power jam for the Witches, and Hanny is out.
Very
Already
quickly out. Yeah.
So we'll keep
Coming
an eye on
around
that
for a
action.
scoring pass here.
Start things off with another full 60-second jam here in this half. Witches trying to put some more points on the board and put a stop to that Clowns run that they had going on heading into the halftime break. And Hanny is getting past those last two blockers who are out of play with 19 whole seconds left on the power jam clock. Now up to the high side, one of the blockers for the Clowns dumped off to the infield. 4 seconds left, and Hannibal Lecture knows she will not get back to the pack, and the clock runs out.
Yeah,
All right,
still
we'll
looks
check
like
the
a
score.
rather successful
Yeah.
power jam, though.
And we'll check on the score down there from the infield. You know, also, Hannibal Lecture skates for our Bombshells. Mentioned, too, there's a lot of game action trucking right through. We really haven't had a lot of time to talk about our sponsors and whatnot. But our next bout coming up, don't forget, our next bout for the Derby Dames features those Bombshells. It's going to be the Bombshells versus the Doomsday Valkyries, and then the Runaway Brides versus the Brutal Beauties. So the brides that you just saw. And those teams are going to go head-to-head. Draggers get the week off next bout. That is going to be on November 9th. November 9th, right here, second Saturday of November, 5 p.m. is our next bout. We are right back to the action.
It looks like we've got Princess Leia for the Wicked Witches and Enema Burns for the Clowns.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that assessment.
And it looks like both jammers are just trying to get out of the pack at this point.
And now racing along the inside, taking off. There goes Dolly. No, Princess Leia, excuse me. So the Witches are trying to put some more points on the board. Witches have their biggest lead right now of 27. And Sleia tries to jump the coping and gets blocked out of the air, which is always a danger when you try to jump the coping, is you are no longer in control of where you land. Enema Burns now catching up, so Dolly Spartan calls it off. Another one we didn't really get a chance to talk about is we have league tryouts coming up. We have league tryouts coming up, and they are going to be on Sunday, November 3rd, so before our next bout. We mentioned it once during the first bout, but we wanted to mention again, if you are interested in what you have seen here, be sure to ask us more about our tryouts Sunday, November 3rd, right here at the warehouse, 9:30 a.m. We're looking for referees for the regulators, skating or non-skating, the minor assaults, ages 10 to 17, all tryouts. At tryouts, your basic skating skills, positive attitude, and more will be assessed. Bring skates, water, and safety gear. Let us know if you need anything else, as including safety gear. That's all for our tryouts. Once again, that's before our next bout, Sunday, November 3rd. Back to the action.
We've got Witch Please, who looks like our lead jammer at the moment. Crash for the Killer Clowns coming out of the pack. Witch Please is looking to pick up some points here, and does so. And calls it off before Crash gets to the pack.
So 4 more points for the Witches there. About 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. All right, 1 blocker down at the behest of head referee Beetlecop. So now on the jammer line, now jamming for the first time with that star right on the back of the helmet. I'm starting to think that's intentional. That's Show Nuff, number 1999, is your jammer for the Clowns, and Show is right to the front.
And it looks like Invader Slim for the Wicked Witches. Show's out of the pack. Lead jammer, very excited.
Big cheer goes up for Show Nuff, longtime league member and fan and skater favorite. Show Nuff now up to the pack. Gave a big wave to the crowd on the way by.
And they kind of need some kudos for the shorts and the glittery hair bow.
So Slim is at the front of the pack trying to get around Olive now. And Olive's going to block long enough to get reinforcements, and Show Nuff calls it off.
Looks like we got a bit of a personnel change here. Oh, this looks like we've got a power jam for the Witches.
Ends up being 4 points for the Clowns. There we are. So now jam refs switch places. Rosie the Ripper came over to give us those points. So 94-64 heading into this power jam. And then once again is a power jam, and that's Bedbugs Bunny, the recently betrothed. And Bugs is going to shake clear. So out and clear now for the Witches, and definitely trying to put more points on the board. The Witches would love to build on that lead right here, and they've done well in a couple of power jams leading up to this one. Bugs, though, kind of hemmed in towards the back of the pack, trying to fight through those Clowns defenders.
Clowns putting up some good defense against Bugs there.
Right. Clowns defenders, not clown defenders.
Clown defenders.
That's rodeo clowns. Those are clown defenders.
Clowns, killer
Right.
Clowns defenders.
Right. Meanwhile, let's see, trying to fight through, although would it be clown blockers? Would that be better for clown blockers for rodeo clowns? They block you from the bowl. Meanwhile, Bugs down to the infield is going to get helped up. They're checking on Bugs, make sure she's all right. She's shaking her head, says okay. So 5 points for the Witches, 99-64. Witches are bumping up against 1,000.
Looks like for the Witches we've got, is that Columbiach?
That is indeed Columbiach. And that is going to be Scary Yeager for the Clowns.
Both jammers trying to make their way through the pack.